What exactly does learning and development do all day? This is a very requested part 2 of the video that I shared last year. So in the first video, we covered the preparation and execution of any face-to-face or online training, employee onboarding, well-being, and succession planning. In this video, we will talk about performance management cycle, supporting the departmental trainers and HODs, and leading different learning and development projects. Let's dive in. Managing performance management cycle. It usually lands on the learning and development plate unless you work in a huge organization, maybe with 20 plus employees, and have a separate performance management manager. Yes, this position actually exists in some companies. So before we dive deep into the performance management, let's talk about goals and objectives for a minute. Because when we are reviewing an employee performance, we need to review it against something. Some organizations have a practice of setting performance goals or KPIs once in a year. Does every organization have a proper goal setting process? Not necessarily. Some organizations, only the managerial level and above will have set of KPIs or key performance indicators. And employees who support and report to this manager won't have individual KPIs but will contribute to the departmental KPIs. In a more ideal world, and when talking about the knowledge workers, everyone should have their individual performance goals. So what is your role in this whole entire process? Goals or KPIs need to be defined, set, and communicated to all employees, and of course recorded in usually some kind of system or at least in Excel. Employees need help with setting their goals in relation to departmental goals. This is where learning and development comes to educate employees on all levels on how to set goals correctly. Your company might be using a SMART goals methodology. That means setting specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals, or maybe OKRs, objectives and key results. Once the goals are set, the next logical step would be to review them. When is the best time to review them? Depending on your company's size, industry, culture as well. The performance conversation may happen once in a year, maybe every 6 months, or even some companies do it on the quarterly basis. What is the best way? There is really no best way. Something may work for one company and something else might work for another company. So I would leave this topic for a separate video. So what is your role in that performance management process? You need to ensure that all employees in the company have that performance conversation with their manager, and that this conversation is recorded somewhere on the paper or in the system, and that employee and the manager agree on the mutual rating when it comes to employee performance for that specific year or for that specific period of time. Your role, along with head of HR, is to educate employees and the managers how to approach a performance review correctly and how to hold a performance conversation. That may include doing performance management workshops, explaining overall process, sharing best practices, do's and don'ts. Many times the performance of the employees is tied to a bonus. It's not a mandatory practice, but this is often the case. Also, what happens after the performance management is done? Those employees who are underperforming, they are put on some kind of a performance improving plan, and this is usually set with L&D as well. And for those employees who are overachievers, who are high performance, they have as well some kind of a development plan for the next 6 months or a year, so they have something to look forward to within the company. They don't leave to the company's competitor, and they stay and they continue to bring great results. The next huge chunk of your day-to-day role as learning and development specialist may be supporting the head of departments and departmental trainers with ongoing learning and development activities and on-the-job training. why people learn and develop new skills the best while they're doing their duties and responsibilities and being part of different projects at work. Think about it. How often will someone do online training? Maybe once a week for 10 minutes. How often will someone attend a face-to-face training? Maybe once in 4 months, or even once in 10 months, or even less. That is why day-to-day on-the-job learning should be your primary focus if you want to support the business with continuous learning and development. So how you can support the business heads? Usually it starts right with employee onboarding journey, where new employees have a proper and structured plan that will help them pass probation period, get all skills that they need to successfully perform in the role they have been selected to. Ideally, you want as well decrease time to productivity. You may also support the departments with learning needs analysis and development of learning content, workshops or seminars. You may also facilitate some of these workshops or learning activities, or you may need to support departmental trainers or managers of this department to facilitate these activities. This may involve you providing a train-the-trainer sessions, offering guidance, coaching, mentoring on instructional design and how to prepare and facilitate short trainings and workshops. Your support also will come in getting feedback on those activities and evaluating their impact. Often, learning and development also supports the organization with any changes involving acquiring new skills or developing new behaviors. For example, a company may offer a new service or product to the market. Employees will need to become familiar with it, become subject matter experts, and then learn how to sell a new product or service to their customers. Another example, the company may introduce a new loyalty program for its customers, and employees will need to learn about the program, the tiers, how to get the points, and how to encourage customers to sign up. This is where you will come into place. Alright, so the next task on your plate can be supporting and leading any internal development programs. For example, the organization may run a supervisory development program to help interested employees develop supervisory skills. Another example, an organization may have a leadership development program that involves face-to-face workshops, online learning, job rotations, maybe job shadowing or some kind of cross exposure and so on. You may be involved in designing this program along with the third party and the management of the company. Then you will be selecting who can support you from the business with facilitating and running this learning journey for employees. Then you will be shortlisting the participants, prepare workshops, prepare all learning materials, facilitate them, and then, of course, evaluate the impact and make your recommendations for improvement. Another task on your plate could be creating effective and engaging online learning experiences and looking after internal company learning materials. It's very common for organizations to create their own learning and development materials, not just use off-the-shelf content. While the business or subject matter experts may provide you with the content, you may need to package it nicely and create a bite-sized online learning. The skills you may need to create a face-to-face workshop are quite different from creating an online engaging learning experience. Some companies have separate role of instructional designer, or this role may fall with learning and development as well. Yes, you really need to have a very diverse set of skills while being in L&D. Instructional designers create interactive learning materials such as e-learning modules, presentations, videos, simulations, quizzes, and so on. Instructional designers collaborate with subject matter experts, trainers, stakeholders to gather the content, review the material, and of course produce the material and then incorporate feedback. They ensure that learning materials are accurate, relevant, and aligned with organizational objectives. You will need to be versed in learning technologies and different online platforms to deliver training content efficiently. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't watched part 1, go and do it now, so you have a very good idea and the full picture of what working in learning and development may look like, and if this is something that you may consider for yourself. If you are a young learning and development professional or one in the making and you need support with your learning and development career, check out more resources on my website. Bye!